Our top story, President Biden arriving in Brussels ahead of a special NATO summit amid growing calls for the West to take tougher actions against Russia. More help for Ukraine. Joining me now, former President George W. Bush, senior advisor and a Fox Business contributor, Karl Rove. Karl, best case, what do you see come out of this summit?
Well, there's clearly going to be some pressure from our European allies to do more. We've already taken the no-fly zone over Ukraine and the idea of a peacekeeping force in Ukraine off the table. But here's some of the other things they're going to be talking about. Already, the Secretary General of NATO has announced that there are going to be 4 battle groups moved to the borders of NATO countries that are around Ukraine. There'll be some talk about can we supply more anti-aircraft systems, these so-called S-300 series. Can we provide more MiG-29s, maybe break them down, rather than provide them aircraft, break them down into spare parts so that the Ukrainians can keep theirs flying. Humanitarian aid quarters, more of what we've already been given to what we've been giving to the Ukrainians. I mean, for example, we gave them 100 Switchblade drones. They need thousands of these. They don't need 100. And then finally, maybe there'll be some discussion, I think, of ship killer missiles. That is to say, they're Russian warships in the Sea of Azov off the southern border of Ukraine. And will the United States, will our allies provide the Ukrainians with missiles that can take out some of those ships?
Karl, also on the table will surely be energy, because the West is still sending $800 million, $1 billion every day straight to Vladimir Putin to wage this war on Ukraine in the form of buying oil and natural gas. The U.S. might have cut off buying oil, but Europe certainly hasn't. There was a report from Bloomberg that said that we're going to discuss boosting supplies of U.S. liquefied natural gas and hydrogen to Europe. But it's Biden's ginormous policy failure on energy here damaging our financial strength and geopolitical heft on the world stage. That comes with energy dominance, which he gave up on, that dovetails with his foreign policy failure. So how does that play out? Because Europe's really in no position to cut off that natural gas, particularly coming out of Russia.
Yeah. Well, they are taking steps. Bulgaria, for example, announced that it was going to, in essence, not renew its contract with Gazprom, because they've now built a pipeline from Bulgaria through Greece so that they can now accept natural gas supplies from either the U.S. or from our allies in the Middle East, UAE in particular, and Qatar, and no longer be necessary for them to rely upon Russia. But they began this process some time ago. The Europeans are in a bad place because they got themselves hooked on Russian gas, and now it's going to take them some time to get off of it. And we need to step up. And unfortunately, as you said, President Biden, when he came into office, immediately said, I'm going to make it more difficult for you to produce natural gas and ship it, because I'm going to ban drilling on federal land and federal waters. I'm going to kill the Keystone XL pipeline, which would help over the medium term to reduce pressure on getting product to market, and took other steps to make it difficult for us to be energy independent. And Putin looked at this and said, what are you doing, giving up such a gigantic geopolitical tool like this?
I said it a year ago. I said that you are emboldening, enriching, and empowering Vladimir Putin by damaging our energy dominance, and China. And to your point, that I know that there were 2 refineries in Japan that have said that they're going to stop buying Russian oil. So that's moving in the right direction as well. Speaking of energy, J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon called on President Biden after a meeting earlier this week to create a Marshall Plan to develop more domestic gas and other energy resources. Do you think Biden and co. listen to Jamie Dimon?
Well, I hope they do, because it would reverse some of the administration's actions, which have really tried to dry up access to capital markets for oil and gas domestically. And this was a strong statement from a very strong business leader who's known for his centrist inclination. So they're not going to just dismiss him as some right-winger. I hope they listen carefully to him, because he made the case that we really need to view energy as a geopolitical tool. If you worry about climate, Do you want China and India burning lignite coal, or do you want them using clean natural gas, which is what has helped us reduce our absolute level of greenhouse gas emissions for most of the last 25 years, is moving into natural gas in lieu of other sources of energy.
Lowest per capita emissions since 1950 is where we were. So, and then we tear up our energy business, natural gas and oil businesses because of that. And also, speaking of which, Karl, and this is right in your wheelhouse, my friend. So Republicans have launched a series of voter registration drives at gas stations. Here's what Ronna McDaniel said about the effort.
This is actually the one promise Joe Biden kept. He wanted to kill American energy. He's done it, and we're paying at the pump for it. He won't even open it up knowing that Americans are struggling. So it is the Biden gas hike, and we're taking advantage and registering voters across the country at gas stations of all places.
Karl, I think it started in Arizona over the weekend. Is this a good idea?
Well, it's a nice stunt. I think it gets press attention. I'm not certain it's going to be generating large numbers of people. When we go to the gas station, we're not inclined to sort of engage in dialogue. We want to get in and get out, maybe go in and get a soft drink or a snack and get our car filled up and go. But smart for them to draw attention to it. And guess what? The American people are not buying this argument of the administration that this is Putin's gas tax. American people know that gas prices were rising over the course of 2021, long in advance of Ukraine and the Russian invasion thereof. And so this is Joe Biden's gas tax increase, and people are going to hold him to account about it at the polls in November. And independents and Republicans together are going to deal the Democrats a very damaging blow at the polls.
They need to stop treating Americans and thinking Americans are stupid. Karl, before we go, Madeleine Albright passed away from cancer at the age of 84. She was the first female Secretary of State. Just some words from you before we go.
Well, she was a remarkable individual. She grew up in the communist Yugoslavia. She was born in Prague. The family escaped just before the invasion of Czechoslovakia by the Nazis. Came to the United States as, I think, a preteen and grew up in this country. Somebody who was sort of the wretched refuse, if you were, the discards of Europe, who came here and rose to become the first woman Secretary of State. She was what she called a pragmatic idealist. She's left a big mark. She'll be missed, and God bless her for her service to our country.
And we pray for her family, and we pray for their strength, and we thank Madeleine Albright for her service. Karl Rove, thank you so much.